What up, Bucs fans, NFL fans, and gambling fans? Welcome to the wild card round of Pewter Picks and Props, brought to you by PewterReport.com. We have Bucs versus Commanders on Sunday Night Football on prime time. A huge matchup, one of the best matchups this weekend for the NFL playoffs that we are going to break down with some picks on the games and player props as well. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Very excited to jump into all of this because it's not just Bucs versus Commanders. It's the Ohio State-Texas game that is going on tonight to decide who's going to play Notre Dame in the national championship. We'll also get to every single NFL playoff game that is taking place on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And, of course, we will end with Bucs versus Commanders, my pick in that game, the over-under, and a couple of player props to get to. So let's get it moving on. We'll start with that college football game, Ohio State against Texas, the Cotton Bowl. So kind of right in the backyard of Texas. But with that said, I'm going with Ohio State -6. They are just a team on a mission. Ever since they lost to Michigan, they're saying, F you, we're going to dominate. We are going to steamroll everybody in their way. This wide receiver is absolutely fantastic. He'd go into the NFL right now if he could. He's playing out of his mind. Not many people can stop him. Texas defense is pretty good, but their offense can be amazing at times and then just completely stall. I don't see Ohio State slowing down, and they're pretty good on defense too. So the pick in that game is Ohio State. Moving on to the NFL, we'll go in order for all the games. So starting with Chargers against the Texans in Houston. Even though they're a road team, they are a favorite, and I'll go with the Chargers -3 over the Texans. So we just talked about Texas, now Texans. I guess I'm against Texas this week. It really just comes down to the Chargers got a little bit healthier as the season came to a close, whether it was Justin Herbert or they got J.K. Dobbins back. That's been super important. The Texans are really banged up. They don't have a good offensive line. They're missing some of their receivers. Deshaun Watson, not Deshaun Watson. Ugh. I can't believe I even said that. He's a scumbag. He's a terrible person. He used to play for the Texans. C.J. Stroud is who I meant to say. C.J. Stroud has regressed a little bit. I still think he's a great quarterback, but it's tough to overcome a bad offensive line. The running game isn't what it used to be. And the Texans defense, while they do have D'Amico Ryans as their head coach, who is a defensive guy, it can be up and down. I think the Chargers are going to control the pace of this game, just bludgeon the Texans over and over, running the football, pass it to Ladd McConkey. So I'll go Chargers -3 on the road at Houston. Next up, a blood feud in the AFC North. Steelers at the Ravens. This is the third time they're meeting. Steelers won the first game in Pittsburgh. Ravens blew out the Steelers when it went to Baltimore. This one is in Baltimore as the Ravens won the division. And I'm going to go with the under of 46. These are two teams that usually play pretty tight. I know the Ravens were high-flying scoring last time around. For me, the biggest thing is I just don't see the Steelers moving the ball much on offense. George Pickens, the wide receiver, seems checked out. The Ravens do a good job of stopping the run. And Russell Wilson looks like he's going to be playing for another team next season if he's even still in the league. The Ravens play smash mouth football. They don't finesse. They'll run the ball with Lamar. They'll run it with Derrick Henry. They don't take crazy deep shots down the field, but they get all of their players involved, whether it's Likely or Mark Andrews at tight end. Zay Flowers isn't playing in this game either, so it's important to remember that not all of their skill possession players are available, and because of that, I'll take the under of 46 for Steelers-Ravens. I do like the Ravens to advance in that game. This next one should be exciting. You have Josh Allen and the Bills against Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix making his NFL playoff debut. Tough matchup for him going to Buffalo. With that said, I think the Bills are going to win the game, but I'm taking the Broncos +9. That's a very high number, and my main reason for it being that the Broncos have a really, really good defense. It's not going to be easy for Josh Allen. And, he's going to win the MVP this year, or at least he should, in my opinion. But Patrick Surtain might win Defensive Player of the Year at corner. Broncos have a pretty good pass rush. They're going to be slow and methodical on offense, trying to move the ball down the field. The Bills' defense isn't that intimidating. So the Bills are going to win this game. Josh Allen's going to do something fantastic. But look for the Broncos to cover this +9. It's not going to be a cakewalk, in my opinion, for the Bills, even though the Bills have aspirations for a huge playoff run. Probably this next game might be the most exciting besides Bucs versus Commanders, with the exception of Vikings Rams as well, which we'll get to. But Packers Eagles, I think, is going to be a lot of fun in this one. So I actually have 2 picks for this game. First off, going with Eagles -5 against the Packers. I think home field advantage is going to be the biggest thing in this one. You have Jalen Hurts coming back. Packers defense is pretty solid, but Saquon Barkley is on another level, rushing for over 2,000 yards. You got A.J. Brown good to go. You got Devontae Smith good to go. There's just too many weapons that the Eagles have for the Packers to overcome. They also, on offense, the Packers just lost Christian Watson, so another player that brings something to that team. He takes the top off of the defense. So one less weapon for Jordan Love. And because of that, I'm taking the Eagles to cover -5. It'll be a madhouse in Philly. I also really like the over in this game of 46. Packers still have enough weapons, even with Watson not playing in the game. Jordan Love's going to have to sling it at some point, and they do have a really good running back in Josh Jacobs. So they'll be able to score some points, even though Vic Fangio and the Eagles defense is pretty good. And the Eagles, I think, will score at will. They'll score over 30 points. It'll be something like 30-20. The Eagles pull away. So that's why I like the over in that game. No doubt about it. The last playoff game of the week, this will be going on Monday night, and they're moving the game to Phoenix, Arizona as well because of the wildfires taking place in California. And our thoughts and prayers are with everybody that has been impacted by that. Interesting matchup. Vikings were playing for the 1 seed a week ago. Now they're the 5 seed and on the road. They are a 2.5-point favorite in this game, but that's not really what I'm looking at. I have my attention on the under of 47.5. And this is for a couple of reasons. The Vikings defense is high flying. Brian Flores loves to blitz over and over and over again. The Rams' strength is running the football. And everyone thinks when you blitz, like, oh, you can just blitz on passing plays. You can do some running blitzes as well. So the Vikings are going to put a ton of their focus into stopping the run of Kyren Williams. And in the passing game, Puka Nacua is awesome. I love watching him play. He's already a star. He made the Pro Bowl last year. Injured a little bit this year, but still can do a lot of great stuff. Cooper Kupp seems like a shell of himself. And so it's not really that two-headed attack for the Rams offensively the way it's been in the past. I think if they slow down Puka Nacua, the Vikings will have a good chance of winning this game and also keeping the scoring down. And offensively, sure, the Vikings have a great offense with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison at receiver, and a good running game as well, But Sam Darnold tends to struggle a little bit more on the road. I mean, we saw how he looked against the Lions. He can throw it a little bit high. You got to remember, he is going on the road for this game. And because of that, I think it'll be a little bit more of a slugfest. The Vikings end up moving on. But 47.5, you might as well just round that up to 50. I don't see 50 points being scored in this game. I maybe 45, something close. I don't see it going over, though. All right. Those are my picks for college football and the NFL. Now we're going to get to the Grand Poobah, the main reason a lot of you are watching, and that is Bucs versus Commanders, the Sunday night game at 8 o'clock. I'm very excited for it. Make sure you watch the Pewter Game Day show as well. That'll be myself and Josh Capo from pewterreport.com. You can watch it at 8 o'clock live on our YouTube channel. And we'll certainly be going pretty crazy. This is a rematch from week 1, but these teams have changed a lot since then. All right, let's start it off with the pick in this game and the over-under. I think it's going to be very close. While I'm picking the Bucs to win, I'm going to take the Commanders +3 when it comes to this matchup. I mean, the Commanders, they win 12 games this season? Like, they are a good football team for a reason. Pretty well balanced as a group and as a team. I just think it's going to be a shootout going back and forth over and over and over. Both of these teams, their defense do not get a lot of takeaways. They both actually have 7 interceptions on the season. So because of that, both teams are going to be scoring at will. I don't care that Marshawn Lattimore is with the Commanders now. Both teams are going to be able to score, which is why I love the over of 50.5 in this game. And I'm taking the Bucs to win 33-31. I just think it's going to be one defensive play made at the end. The Commanders are going to be able to score where the Bucs have the lead. They score a touchdown, but that makes it a one-possession game and makes it 33-31. We'll see if Shaq Barrett can do anything now that he's playing. Of course, Mike Evans should be doing his thing as well. The Bucs are going to be able to score at will. I think they'll be able to do what they do best, which is play with the lead. And that's when they've really been on top of their game, playing with the lead and then just, pulling it away late, especially with running the football. And we'll get to that run game in just a moment. So with the Bucs running the ball a lot more, it will impact the passing yards for Baker, but it won't impact the amount that the Bucs will be able to score points in this game. And speaking of rushing, moving over to the other quarterback playing in this game, we're going to go with Jayden Daniels over on his rushing yards. It's over 50.5. Let's remember, he had over 80 rushing yards when they faced off against the Bucs in week 1. There's going to be a lot of blitzes by Tampa Bay, but will those blitzes get home? That's the biggest thing for me. Jayden Daniels is the leading rusher for the Washington Commanders. He almost got 1,000 yards on the season. They'll have designed runs. They'll also have situations where he has to scramble. We've seen the Bucs get to the quarterback and then not be able to wrap up, and the quarterback gets out free. We've seen quarterbacks extend plays against the Bucs because the pass rush is getting home. So that is a beautiful recipe for Jayden Daniels to just tuck in and run, gain a number of yards, avoid the blitz, and get up the field. So over 50.5 rushing yards seems pretty good. And sticking with the run game, Bucky, Irving, Bucky. Remember, he was not featured a ton, even though he had the most rushing yards for the Bucs in that game. Now he's their lead running back. He's going to get way more than 9 rushing attempts. He may double that up. He may get 18. He might get all the way up to 20. So I love the over of 88.5 rushing yards for Bucky Irving. He is their bell cow when it comes to running the football. The Bucs win a lot of games when he gets over 80 rushing yards. And with the Bucs being able to gain a pretty big lead in this game, they will just continue to ride Bucky. And it's important to remember, the Washington Commanders have the 3rd worst rushing attack or rushing defense in the entire league. I'll say that again. The Commanders have the 3rd worst rushing stopping defense in the NFL. That is music to the Bucs' ears. They know how to grind it out at the end of games, running it, and forcing you to stop it, and the Commanders won't be able to. Another thing that can't be stopped is when the Bucs attempt to defend tight ends in the passing game. So because of that, I love the over of 38.5 receiving yards for Zach Ertz. This is, just an auto play at this point. Whoever the tight end is, the Bucs cannot cover. They struggle against the tight ends. For me, there's 2 threats in this game for the Bucs playing against the Commanders offense outside of Jayden Daniels, but it's Terry McLaurin and it's Zach Ertz. And I don't see Zach Ertz getting slowed down at all. So it's over on the receiving yards for Ertz going up against the Bucs defense. My last pick, of course, it is the anytime touchdown prop that I do every single week. You have to ride the hot hand in this one. So it's Jalen McMillan, anytime touchdown. That's plus 160. McMillan has scored 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He's on an incredible run at the moment. He scored his first career touchdown against the Commanders. That defense has so many things they have to game plan for. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep riding it over and over and over until it stops. So Jalen McMillan, anytime touchdown with a payout of plus 160 is the pick for that game. So it should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch it. Those are all my picks and props for this week. Make sure you're following Pewter Report at Pewter Report. You can follow me at Matty4_Matera. My Instagram is at Matty_Matera. So just take out the 4. And that'll do it for this week. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Enjoy the playoffs coming up, whether it's college or the NFL. Good luck this weekend, and let's win some money. Out.